What's going on, mama? Coach Trevor here. Welcome to my YouTube channel and hope you are having a fantastic week thus far. You are here because you are probably looking for the workout routine, correct? Well, you've come to the right place. Okay, so right now I'm going to go ahead and go over this and give you a brief overview on how this is going to work and how this will help you shape your body and drop a lot of the stubborn fat that you are currently struggling with. Besides trying to figure out what workout plan is going to work best for you, another reason why you're probably here is because you are probably feeling overwhelmed and stuck and feel like you're doing everything at once. Correct? You're probably married, you have a couple kids, you work full time, you're trying to get your fitness and health on track, and you're trying to do everything all at once. But because of everything you got going on, because of all the different hats that you wear or different plates that you're juggling, you're trying to figure out what's going to work best for you. And you may Google how to lose weight. What's the best workout program? What's the best workout program I could do from home? What is something that's simple where I don't feel like I'm killing myself in the gym, or whatever it may be? You might get 1,000 different answers. And needless to say, that's going to leave you feeling very overwhelmed and discouraged. It's like, okay, well, how much is too much? Am I overtraining? Is this not enough? Am I doing it correctly? Because when it comes to getting in really good shape, there's a lot of variables you're going to have to address, especially in regards to nutrition, stress management, exercise. Needless to say, exercise is a big variable. Something I like to preach on is I just say, listen, in my opinion, exercise is probably going to be one of the simpler variables that we could adjust to help you get the results that you want. And I tell our ladies in the program, let's keep it very simple, because a lot of times when women are coming into our program, here's usually the case. They are working out 5 to 6 days a week. Maybe they go into a boot camp like F45, Orange Theory, Fit Body Boot Camp, or they've tried to go into the gym before, but they have no idea what to do. And then they just get discouraged and walk right out and then go back to whatever they were doing before. But then they know that doesn't work. So they're like, okay, I got to do something. I can't tell you how many women have done that. And then they feel like they're constantly spinning their wheels and then nothing is working, right? And then they get into our program. I have them work out less, and then they get better results. So less is more when you're doing the correct things, and actually more is less when you're doing the wrong things. Like more doesn't necessarily correlate to better. And so I say, listen, if we could just stick to 3 to 4 days max in terms of exercise, but we're doing the correct things, you are going to get some pretty kick butt results. And that's what we help out with our moms in the program, was we help take this aspect of their life. We make it super simple to get them the best results possible. We specialize in fat loss and lifestyle transformation for busy moms over 35. Our moms, they work out on average 2 to 3 times a week. They don't kill themselves in the gym. They certainly don't give up foods that they love or feel like they're starving themselves. And no, they definitely do not give up carbs ever under any circumstances, okay? They either work with myself one-on-one directly or my wife one-on-one directly, and we have an open line of communication 24/7, and then the program is specifically designed to fit the individual's needs. There is no one size fits all when it comes to what we do. Yeah, certain principles you have to follow, but everything that we do has to be tailor-made to the individual. And like I said, before I hop into this workout program, and I'll show you the ladies that we work with. This isn't my personal page, guys. This is our Strength Air Academy. This is our program. So if you come over to this page, you'll see a lot of before and afters. So this is my client, Winnie. I actually known Winnie for years, and she opted to my program actually fairly recently. She's down 20 pounds, absolutely crushing it. Married, mother, works full-time. One of our other clients, Jen, it's funny because she came to us, and actually this is not the most recent progress photo of her. We got to do a new one because she actually looks even better now. But when she first came to me, she like swore up and down, it's my hormones. And I go, maybe, but maybe not. And then voila. We're able to address a few other things, and then this is what happened, right? So she's looking pretty good. And if you scroll down, yeah, you'll see hundreds more. But yeah, this is what we do. We've been doing it for a long time, about 25 years combined experience between my wife and I. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a brief breakdown of how this is going to work. And also, too, at the end of this video, guys, if you decide, you know what, I think I could definitely use some extra accountability, some extra support, some extra guidance. I'm tired of spinning my wheels year after year. Then just come back to the chat on Instagram. We'll have a brief conversation and see what our program would specifically look like for you, and if it's a good fit, then we'll go from there. With that said, let's go ahead and hop into it. So, and once again, this program you guys could do from the gym, you guys could do from home with minimal equipment. It's super simple, and like I said, I work out personally 3 times a week. My wife, if you follow her too, you see how she looks. She looks incredible. She works out 3 times a week. Keep it simple. So let's go ahead and hop into it. Let's go over day 1. Now, there's 3 days on here. At the end of the day, it depending on what your schedule looks like, because a common question I'll get asked, whether it's in my program or just people on Instagram, when's the best time to exercise? My answer is always going to be, it depends in regards to pretty much anything. But in regards to that question in particular, it's going to be, well, whenever you could get it in. If you need to get this in 3 days in a row, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, then that's fine. Ideally, if you could break it up, like do a split where it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, that would be ideal, because I personally, I like to have a day of rest in between. That way I'm a little more recovered going into that next workout. That way I could give a little bit more, therefore get a little bit more out of it. So that's That's what I recommend. But once again, there's no right or wrong. It's just whatever works best for you and whatever your schedule permits. So if we look at day one, here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with a simple warm up. It could be a brisk walk, a light jog. We just want to get some blood flow going before we hop into these movements. So now the first exercise, the first movement is going to be Romanian deadlifts. If you're not sure what Romanian deadlifts are exactly, I'm just going to have you Google it. It's a super simple movement. If you're a beginner, I recommend starting with dumbbells as opposed to a barbell. They're just going to be a little easier to maneuver and a little safer to start out. So start with dumbbells. And as far as like a weight is concerned, you need to find out what your baseline is. So if you're just starting out, start with 15 pounds in each hand and see how that feels. If you feel it's too heavy, start a little lighter. If you feel it's too light, go a little heavier. That's going to be a great exercise for building a lot of posterior strength, meaning behind you, the back, the upper shoulders, the glutes. I know you ladies want to grow your glutes nowadays. That's like my wife's goal, but she does Romanian deadlifts all the time. But that's going to be a great full body movement by primarily posterior chain. And also a general rule of thumb is if you're a little more advanced, you want the weight to be challenging. Like I said, you don't want to go too heavy. It's 8 to 10 reps. So if you're struggling 5 reps in that, then that's an indication that you went too heavy. But the goal is to get stronger month after month on these exercises. So what should take place on every set, since there's 3 sets total, the last like 2 to 3 reps of every set, you should be struggling. That's the goal. Okay. You want to be struggling. You want it to be challenged. Really want some intensity and effort. That's a principle when it comes to exercise that you want to have. If you're just kind of going through the motion and flying through it, and you're like, oh, I'm done, and you barely broke a sweat, then that's not going to change your body. So Romanian deadlifts is going to be the first exercise on this workout. The next thing we're going to move to chest press. So all these workouts, the 3 workouts are full body, just FYI. Dumbbell chest press, pretty straightforward. If you're not sure exactly what that is, I'm just going to have you Google it. And I'm going to have you start out with dumbbells. Like I said, if you're a little more advanced and you want to hop on a barbell, that's fine. If you haven't spent a lot of time in the gym or just doing exercise in general, start with dumbbells. They're going to be a little easier to maneuver, a lot safer. And also, they're going to fix a weak side. So if you're like right hand dominant and you have like an imbalance and your right side is way stronger than your left or vice versa, then dumbbells could essentially fix a weak side. I like to start with dumbbells sometimes when I'm working with a lot of our ladies. Leg press or goblet squat. Once again, if you know your way around the gym or you've exercised for a long time, it's safe to assume you probably know how to squat. So if you know how to squat properly, I would just go ahead and do the leg press for this one. I want it to be challenging weight on the leg press. If you're not exactly sure how to squat, we got to learn how to move our body first. Dumbbell goblet squats or a kettlebell, or if you're still starting out, we could just do our own body weight. Goblet squats are arguably the best way to teach someone how to squat properly. You're going to squat with a dumbbell. If whatever weight you choose is a little too easy and you just find yourself breezing through those reps, by the time you get to the 3rd set, go a little heavier. Those last couple reps, that should be challenging. Okay, now we're going to move on to the cable row or dumbbell bent over row. If you have spent some time in the gym, I'm going to recommend the cable row. If not, then I'm going to recommend the dumbbell bent over rows. Just sometimes working with more free weights is going to offer a lot more recruitment in regards to fixing a lot of, like I said, imbalances, but also getting stronger overall before you start to move to some more isolated movements. Like the cable row is a little more isolated. So if you haven't, like I said, spent a lot of time in the gym or with weights, I recommend the dumbbell bent over row. We start with that, right? Once again, 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, dumbbell shoulder press. And really this program with these exercise ladies is really designed to give you like that hourglass figure where we shape the hips, we shape the backside, but we also shape the upper body too and give you a strong but at the same time feminine look as well. And so like I said, if you see my wife, this is essentially a lot of the exercises that she has in her program. So dumbbell shoulder press. So you're going to do seated all the way up, all the way down. 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. And once again, general rule of thumb, those last couple reps you should be struggling, barely be able to get. Think about your ancestors are watching you and you want to make them proud. Think about it that way. Okay. That's how I want you guys to view intensity and effort. So that's day 1. Day 2, same thing. You're going to warm up with a brisk walk or a light jog. We just want to get some blood flow going into those muscles. And then same thing, we're going to start out with squats. If you're a little more advanced, you can hop under the barbell. That's totally fine. If you're not, let's just move to dumbbell goblet squat. Or also too, you could do the leg press too. Whether it's squats with a barbell, if you're not familiar, if you're not used to doing that movement or you don't do it very often, do goblet squats. If that's a little too easy, then you can move to the leg press. Same thing, keep that intensity, keep that effort. Dumbbell lateral raise. So 2 dumbbells, you're going to have them at your sides. You're going to bring them up. This is going to work the shoulders. I really want you guys concentrating on those shoulders because, like I said, over time, as you put these exercises together, we're going to enhance a lot of those feminine curves. The next thing, dumbbell single leg deadlift. So if you're not sure exactly how to do this, I'm going to have you Google this movement. Pull up a YouTube tutorial. You know exactly what to do. But once again, this is going to work a lot of that posterior, the backside. And my wife, she does these all the time. And she has some pretty nice glutes and some nice hamstrings. So if you want the same, then something like single leg deadlifts are definitely going to be your best friend. Now, number 4 on day 2, SA. What is SA? Single arm dumbbell row. That's what that is. We're going to do 8 to 10 on the left side, 8 to 10 on the right side. If you're not exactly sure what that is, I'm going to have you Google it, pull up the YouTube tutorial so you know exactly what we need to do. And then for the last thing, we're going to work some core. A straightforward isolated movement is going to be the abdominal crunch machine. If you're going to any kind of corporate gym like Vasa, LA Fitness, EOS, Planet Fitness, they all have. So you're going to hop on that 12 to 15 rep. We're going to isolate the core and work on that. And if those machines are taken up, then we could just hold a plank for 60 seconds. And most people could do a plank. We could do 3 sets of that if that's occupied. We're going to move to day 3. Same thing for the warm up. And everyone's favorite, Bulgarian lunges. You guys familiar with Bulgarian lunges? If not, well, it's time to get familiar because this might be arguably one of the best single leg movements that you could do for overall strength, overall leg, glute development. Like Bulgarian lunges are going to be, I said the deadlifts are going to be your best friend, but I take it back. Bulgarian lunges are going to be your best friend. Okay. And same thing, you got to find your baseline. If you're not exactly sure how to do this movement, then I'm going to have you Google that. You're going to do this with dumbbells. Okay. Dumbbell Bulgarian lunges, 8 to 12 on each leg. Push-ups. We want to work on that upper body strength as well. So a lot of times some ladies aren't able to do push-ups yet when they get into our program. When they're done, they are doing push-ups, just FYI. But you can take an exercise and you can modify it 3 to 4 to 5 times, depending on what you could do in that moment. Or if you have like an injury or we got to work around that, then that's totally fine too. So if you could just do regular push-ups all the way down, all the way up, elbows in, then we'll do those. If you can do it, let's start on the knees. You're going to go on the knees. Once that becomes easy, then we will graduate to regular push-ups. And you can't do it on the knees either, then you can just do it on the dumbbell rack. Essentially like a countertop push-up, you would just do it on the dumbbell rack. And then once that becomes easy, we're going to graduate to the knees. Once that becomes easy, we will graduate to just regular push-ups. And here's the thing. Once again, overall, guys, on all these movements, your goal is to get stronger week after week. So for example, on any of these movements, if we're doing dumbbell chest press and you start out with 15-pound dumbbells in each hand, after a couple weeks, if doing 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps is easy, go to 20. Once that becomes easy, go to 25. Once that becomes easy, go to 30. The goal is to get as strong as possible and create new stimulus. That's what's going to shape your body composition. And then hip thrust, same thing. We talked about the modification. So for example, if you've never done hip thrust before, we're going to start with body weight. Lay on your back, plant your feet on the ground. You're going to drive through your heels, drive your hips all the way up. If that's too easy, we're going to do it with a dumbbell. If that's too easy, then you're going to hop on the Smith machine at the gym and we're going to do it with a bench and we're going to do it that way. But my wife does hip thrusts all the time. And some gyms, they have like an actual hip thrust machine. So if that's available, then you could just hop on that too. And then dumbbell upright rows. Got to work those shoulders. Like I said, these are the movements that you ladies want to work on. This is it. Keep it simple. If you work this program over the next 3-4 plus months and you are consistent week after week, I promise you 3 to 4 months from now, you're going to be unrecognizable. It all comes down to consistency. I could put together the best workout program on the planet for some, but if they can't stay consistent with it, it doesn't matter. So at the end of the day, if we need to simplify it where it's a little less, but it's very doable, and if they can stay consistent with it, you will get consistent results. As cliche as it sounds, consistency is key. I hope this is helpful. Any questions, you let me know. And once again, dialing in an exercise program is a step in the right direction with your overall body and lifestyle transformation. But don't forget those other variables, the nutritional side of things, the hydration, the stress management, your body movement, etc. These are things that matter. And so there's a lot more nuance that comes with it. But once again, if we've come to the end of the video and if you decided, you know what, I would like to inquire about your one-on-one coaching program, just come back to the chat on Instagram. We'll have a brief conversation and go over what we can do to help you and what that would look like specifically for you moving forward. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. Any questions you have, you let me know. Always a message away. And I hope that we talk sooner than later. Have a good day.